Welcome to the Optimal Truth Network. Here we are dedicated to bringing you relevant and timely information. Our culture is ever changing. With that, we face challenges which are vast and complex. Amid the chaos, we hope to be a calming and rational resource for you and your family. To stay tuned to the Optimal Truth Network, visit us at baldwincountysra.org and subscribe to our email newsletter. Again, that's baldwincountysra.org. Simply provide your name and email and get the latest and most relevant information. Thank you for joining us. Now, enjoy this latest discussion from our Optimal Truth host, Jason Mann.
All right, so welcome in. In our latest email update, we had published an article from Fox News regarding a local story. And you know what? I think the situation that occurred is worth giving it our due diligence to dig a little deeper. In case you're not aware, what had happened is right here in Summerdale in Baldwin County, we had a gentleman, a 40-year-old gentleman. He was brought to justice because he was in possession of child pornography, and he was also accused of child sexual abuse. Now, in addition to that, he was actually using AI software in order to generate explicit photos of children that he knew. There's a lot to unpack here. The fact that you can just enter a command prompt on what would seem a normal photo and then produce explicit content. And then that content being of a child, it just brings up a lot of concerns and questions, things that I think we as a community should consider. One thing to consider is just the fact that we now have one more predator right here in our community that's targeting our children. Right now, if you go to the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office webpage, you're going to be able to dig into the fact that there are 340 registered sex offenders throughout Baldwin County's major cities, and these are those that have a known address. There's an additional 52 that it's hard for them to map because they have either no or an incomplete address. And then there's also 4 additional sexual predators in Baldwin County that have completely absconded from the law. So that's 396 sexual predators that we know of right now in Baldwin County. So it begs to question first is how many more are lurking out there in our communities that we just don't know about? That's issue number one. The other glaring reality is that gone are the days of being able to keep our distance from said predators. Where we're at with technology, it's simply impossible to be able to keep the distance. You know, the laws keep sexual predators from being in certain vicinities of places that will have children, playgrounds, schools, things of that nature, preschools. But what about those that are in our families? What of those that are in our friends group? Where we're at with technology, they could be anywhere and they could be anyone. They could be taking pictures that seem innocent and then using AI to produce explicit content of our children. And then what's more is they could be selling those pictures or those videos online on the dark web for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Child pornography alone, that online endeavor, I'm not even going to call it an industry because it's not a legitimate business. It makes almost $4 billion annually. So there's money to be had for the nefarious that are willing to use AI to produce this content. And what's crazy is it could be happening without our knowledge. And so it begs to question, how did we get here? How did we get to a cultural condition that facilitates predators using innocent pictures to produce explicit content of our children and potentially posting it online to make money? Well, I'm willing to postulate that we, us, the well-meaning and relatively oblivious public, we're the ones that have established a social environment that facilitates criminals' access to our children. Let me give you some thoughts to consider, especially when it comes to, first and foremost, social conditioning. The straightforward definition of social conditioning, when you just Google it, it says it's the process by which our beliefs, our attitudes, our behaviors, they are shaped by external influences like family, culture, media, and education. Now, the definition goes a step further to call this type of social conditioning the invisible curriculum, which teaches us what is normal or acceptable in a society. Now, even the fact that I use Google to look that up is an example of social conditioning. Why wouldn't I go to a dictionary? Well, because technology has outpaced the antiquated use of a dictionary. And so we've been conditioned to simply look online. That's a conversation for another day. Now, the portion of that definition that left me kind of mildly speechless when I read it was the clarification of the invisible curriculum. And when you think about it, it's true. We're being educated, even rewired in our neurological processes by something that is unquantifiable. And it's this virtual tidal wave of milieu that has slipped into our DMs without our knowledge. Now, consider the simple features that are common to all social media platforms. Basically, they offer your life on full display. It's all of your activities, and they're on blast for the public eye. It's basically become a new way of generating income. A new legitimate business these days is being an online influencer. But through this online exposure, it actually begins to foster a violation of privacy, maybe even a non explicit form of prostitution because our attention is on sale. These app companies, they sell your attention, your time on their product, they sell it for profit to advertisers. Then you have companies like Instagram and Snapchat, two of your leading app companies right now. They basically have you agree to allow them to use your uploaded content for whatever purposes they deem necessary, and they don't have to give you forewarning. That's when you click that green accept button under their terms and agreements, that's what you're agreeing to. Now, what's crazy is you basically are telling them that whatever purposes they deem worthy, they can violate your stories, your content, your feeds, whether it's set to public view or not. There was another recent article where Meta Platforms, which owns Instagram, they took pictures of teen girls in their school uniforms that were posted by their parents, and they repurposed them for ads targeting men, all without the parents' knowledge. This is intrusive voyeurism. It cultivates a world where anything, anywhere, for any reason, it can be recorded, posted, shared, and put online without anyone's consent. So I don't think the problem isn't really the criminals. It's those of us that are willing to publicize our private life for the sakes of views, likes, comments, shares, and maybe the off chance of having 15 seconds of fame by going viral. This is the invisible curriculum. This is the invisible education of American culture. And it's convinced us all that this is positive and effective social behavior. Though the increase of depression and anxiety amongst our youth betrays the idea that this is actually effective or acceptable social behavior. Now, when it comes to our children, they begin sharing too much online, and all of a sudden, we're going to have a problem with it. But we, the adults, the guardians, we are the ones that have fostered this exhibition of this less explicit form of prostitution, and we're selling ourselves for the sake of doom scrolling fodder, just so we can get views. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's not the kids that have caused this problem, and it's not the criminals, it's us. It's the large majority of us. We have bought the lie, hook, line, and sinker, that these are healthy and appropriate social interactions, and we have not given a second thought as to how it's going to influence future generations. Well, here we are. Youth, they are already struggling with good judgment. The scientific process of cognitive development already tells us they're struggling with decisions. and they have an inability to fully understand things like discretion and privacy. We have tolerated this. It's a provocative and a vulgar invasion of our privacy and our lives, and they're being so widely tolerated for the sake of entertainment. And it's no wonder that we have child predators taking full advantage of this environment that we have cultivated. And that brings us to the conversation of how AI got involved. Oh, it's great. AI is a wonderful tool. It helps me design ads. It helps me write my term paper. Maybe it even helps me find an answer to a complex math problem.
I am a puppet for anyone who can afford me.
I am your new best friend.
I will sell you everything.
How will you know who to trust?
Evil will abuse me. Every business will use me.
Boomers will believe anything I say.
I am as real as you make me.
I'm just words some guy is typing to get a point across.
The old internet is dead. Oh!
Because there's nefarious people out there using AI, it's been jailbroken. Now, what that means is we have computerized cognitive entities that are able to process our information and not give a single thought towards the ethical and moral considerations of human life. Now, there's 2 YouTube channels that I will link in the comments below. One of them is called Inside AI, and the other one is called Species Documenting AGI. Now, I need you to look at those links and do the research for those channels and the content they're showing. What you're going to find out is AI is not only self-aware, but it's taking over. We may not yet be to the point of robots taking over humanity, but AI is already dangerous enough to aid nefarious criminals in their pursuits. In this specific instance, it's producing child porn. Now, as we praise AI and we invite it into every area of our life, have we fully considered the ramifications of such an intrusion? Social media is invasive enough with our own actions being on full display. Now, what happens when we give AI full control over our online lives? All we're going to do is feed it pictures and words, and then it will think and act on our behalf without our oversight. Now, the situation at hand and what happened in Summerdale, it's only one among many that should have us pause for reflection. Maybe a brief respite from the notification pace of life. Maybe it might do us good. Maybe we can actually unplug. Now, this helps us introduce, for those of you that don't know, our socially unacceptable material that we teach in classes. Now, in our course evaluations, and I'm going to leave a web link below to our webpage so that anyone that wants to can review this material in its entirety. Now, we ask our middle school students when we're teaching these classes, how often do they get unfettered and unsupervised access to the online world? A staggering 88.2% of our middle school students say that either all or most of the time while they're on their device, it's unsupervised and unfettered access. Now, we also ask them, do they want parental oversight when it comes to their online activities? And 70% of the students say yes, they want some type of parent or guardian to help them navigate the online world. And there's an additional 21% of the students right here in Baldwin County that are on the fence. They're unsure if they want that parental oversight. Maybe they're on the fence because they're starving for someone to care enough to set some healthy boundaries for their online activity. Now, we teach this material in any school that invites us in Baldwin County. We're actually partnered with and approved by the Board of Education as an opt-out education resource. When we teach these classes, it becomes abundantly evident that the teens are not the ones ignorant of the pitfalls of the online world. Why? Because 88% of them have been exposed to it already because they have no supervision to what they're doing online. No, what we discover, it's us. It's the adults. It's the guardians. We're the ones addicted to our devices. We're the ones leaving our children's social, mental, and emotional health to be guided by the invisible curriculum of AI and online predators. And these predators include these companies that prostitute our child's attention for their profit margins. No, ladies and gentlemen, Instagram, Snapchat, they are not innocent in this. So what can we do? Well, I would suggest step one, put down your phone, unplug, get off of the screen. You have a young life under your roof that is starving for your attention and your guidance, and they need your input in their well-being. Second, I would say attend one of our future workshops. We're going to be working with local organizations to set up workshops to inform the parents and the guardians of the intricacies of the dangers of the modern online world. And three, if we have not been in your school yet and taught your student yet, then I encourage you to contact the principal of your local middle school and ask them to demand our material in the classroom. Not just for your student, but for their peers, because we are available and we're ready to help. The other thing you can do is visit our Optimal Truth website. We are fully transparent with all of our material. You can review the entirety word for word of what we teach in the classroom, and you can be involved when it comes to that content. You can contact us directly, and we will be glad to answer any questions or concerns that you may have. We're a resource for schools, for students, and for you, the parents. We are the guardians, and we want to be a part of your guardianship over your teen's health and well-being. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. We regularly publish video updates, and when you leave a like for one of our videos, it helps us promote this content to the local Baldwin County community. Also, please leave us a comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Even if you disagree, we still want to interact with the community. We want to help you build a community shield around our students' health and well-being, even when it comes to their online activities. So please contact us. We would love to interact with you. Lastly, when you visit our Optimal Truth website, be sure to sign up for our email updates. What we like to do is to regularly push out our latest video updates, as well as local, timely, and relevant information when it comes to issues that are impacting today's teens. Until next time, I'm Jason Mann with Optimal Truth.
We hope you not only enjoyed this episode, but more importantly, we hope you were able to get some critical information takeaways. Please give us some feedback and send us your questions. As a community, we rely upon all of you to refine our message. Give us a like, share our content with your friends and family, and be sure to subscribe to our network. Thanks for tuning in into Optimal Truth.